How to write the perfect antagonist. Obviously, there is no such thing as the perfect antagonist, but there are a few that come very close. It doesn't take a genius to know how incredible of an antagonist Griffith from Berserk is. And since I did 2 complete videos on analyzing Guts, I kinda have to do at least one for Griffith. So that's what I'm here to do today. Welcome to an in-depth analysis of Griffith from Berserk. Before we get into the video, just wanted to say that over 85% of you are not subscribed that are watching these videos. So if you are not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can hit that big 1,000 subscribers. But anyways, back to the video. Whether you hate him or love him, there's no denying that Griffith is without a doubt one of the best written antagonists you can witness in a story. So what exactly is it that makes Griffith such an amazing character? To answer this question, we need to take a look back to some of the earliest parts of Berserk to see how Griffith was first introduced. His first appearance is a rather interesting one, being introduced at a part of the story where we have no idea who he is. But there's a good reason Miura decided to introduce Griffith so early and in such a vague way. Of course, mystery is one of the big reasons, but another reason I think he was introduced in this way was to set up parallels between him and Guts early on in the story. Paralleling his respective protagonist is essential to a well-written antagonist, and it doesn't take a lot to understand that Guts and Griffith have pretty much the greatest parallel in manga, undeniably, with both being completely opposite to one another. Griffith is introduced in a way that gives the reader a sense of mystery and is portrayed to very clearly be the antagonist of the story through Guts' immense rage upon seeing him in the first arc. One of the first things we see Griffith talk about is fate and purpose. Here's a quote from the early pages of Prologue 8. In life, unrelated to one's social standing or class as determined by man, there are some people who, by nature, are keys that set the world in motion. They are the true elite as dictated by the golden rule of the universe. That's what I want to know. What is my place in the world? Who am I? What am I capable of? What am I destined for? It's funny, you're the first person I've ever spoke to like this. Not only does this display the entire character of Griffith, but it gives the reader even more of a reason to continue reading the story, building up the mystery, being this supposedly evil character. The Golden Age arc can be considered to be the best arc in manga by me and by many other people, as it develops its protagonist and antagonist, Guts and Griffith, brilliantly. Introducing Femto in the previous arc now tells the reader that Griffith does something that's unforgivable. And yeah, he definitely does something that's quite unforgivable. The moment we see Griffith in the Golden Age for the first time, we see this beautiful, calm, and elegant man, completely different from who we saw in Femto. His first major introduction is in the first fight with Guts, the fight that brought Guts into the Band of the Hawk officially. Because I realize I want you, Guts. This line shows that there's something odd about Griffith, and this ties into his ultimate dream of eventually getting his own kingdom. In order to get his own kingdom, he will do anything he must do. Setting up this massive goal of getting a kingdom is something that sets Griffith apart from other antagonists. In fact, this kind of makes him seem like the protagonist of the series, and for some parts, he honestly could be seen as the protagonist of the series, as he gets almost as much screen time as Guts, especially in the Golden Age and Millennium Falcon arcs. Miura has even mentioned once in an interview that he was trying to make Griffith seem like the protagonist, especially in the Millennium Falcon arc. In the Golden Age arc, we almost aren't shown anything about Griffith as a person, but at the same time, we are shown the most from him than any other character. You could argue even more than Guts. He seems like a chill and friendly guy and a complete opposite from the person that Guts is. A good example of this is Prologue 16, where we see Griffith and Guts interact. showing how differently they are and how differently they are written. The interesting thing about Griffith though is that he's not entirely what he's portrayed as. The White Hawk is of course the nickname used to describe Griffith at many parts of the story. It's as if he's a hawk that soars above all else. In a way, we are told indirectly that he is the strongest character in the story, and while he may be one of the strongest in terms of physical strength, mentally it is very clear to see that he is weak. This is of course shown when Guts decides he's going to leave the Band of the Hawk. Guts was someone Griffith had known for a long time, and yet he approached Guts with the intent to kill him since he no longer belonged to him, while Guts had the chance to kill Griffith but decided not to. This is yet another one of the differences between the two. Losing for the first time is something that Griffith absolutely cannot accept, as we see him sleep with Charlotte in order to convince himself that he is strong, and that he doesn't need Guts in order to achieve his dream, but he just can't get over this loss and falls into darkness. Guts, on the other hand, has gone through much worse than Griffith and continues to struggle forward again and again, creating this incredible parallel between the two characters, building the two into the greatest protagonist and antagonist in manga respectively. There are many antagonists that we see struggle mentally like Griffith does in the Golden Age arc. This is one of the many things that separates him from other antagonists. Of course, what happens after this is Griffith falling into complete despair, being tortured for over a year, to the point where he is nearly a walking corpse. This leads to the action that sets up Griffith as the main antagonist of the story. In the moments before the eclipse, Griffith is on the brink of death, and it is at this point where he asks himself these exact words. What do you fear in this place? As he attempts to kill himself, he stumbles upon the Crimson Baylet, thus summoning the Great Nocturnal Festival. I'm sorry, I just say eclipse so much, I thought I'd change it up, okay? There isn't much I need to say about the eclipse, as it was so heavily foreshadowed in both the previous arcs. While this moment is shocking, at the same time, it makes so much sense. This is very clearly shown to us through Guts in chapter 77. This is also the chapter where we are shown one of the most powerful panels in manga, the Tower of Corpses. Griffith is the White Hawk, the one who soars above all else. He's so pretty and elegant that he almost seems inhuman, but what does he truly feel inside? Is he really an angel, or is he a devil disguised with the face of an angel? This panel answers that question, and the answer we have already been told. Griffith will do anything to achieve his dream of getting his own kingdom. That includes this. The backstory we get of Griffith in chapter 77 is a representation of who he truly is deep down. Someone who is passionate towards his dream but doesn't know what his own ambitions cause for the people around him, creating this Tower of Corpses. If you want to go all the way to the castle, you'll have to pile up many corpses. If you turn back, you will become one of these corpses. So why not just gaze at the castle? As he looks for an answer, he sees Guts, who says to him, "Isn't this part of your dream? You believe that, don't you?" And as he hears this, he realizes that this is the path that he chose from the beginning, and that he must continue climbing up the corpses in order to reach his ultimate goal. He is someone who would do anything not to become one of the corpses and to continue climbing towards his goal. As he realizes this, he makes the decision to betray everything he had built up until now in order to gain power. As he sees Guts, the man who made him forget his dream, he says the word sacrifice, thus changing the story of Berserk forever. Like a strong antagonist does, he sets the story in motion and drives the protagonist towards a goal. Once becoming Femto, Griffith basically achieves his goal of getting his own kingdom, as he basically has all the power he needs. He later creates Fantasia, achieving his goal of getting a kingdom. But here's what elevates Griffith even higher than he already is as an antagonist. As Guts clearly states, even after achieving his goal, he will always soar higher. That is Griffith the White Hawk. I think this is incredible because it relates to the nature of humans so much. After we achieve a goal, we want more. For example, if your goal was to get into the Olympics, once you get there, you'll set up a goal of eventually winning gold. If your goal was to become the vice president of a company, for example, once you achieve that, you'd love to become the president and will most likely set that as your future goal. As humans, we always strive for more. This idea is brilliantly shown through the character of Griffith. At the end of the conviction arc, Griffith is revived into his own body once again, but this time it's completely different. As he stands on the Hill of Swords, he has this aura around him that is of course described as an angel, like many times in the story before. At that moment, all who were there forgot to breathe, and they sensed intuitively that the one they desired had come. Even Guts admits that he lost his will to take down Griffith in these moments of seeing him. And as the two meet for the first time, Guts of course charges in immediately, but Griffith says these exact words: "I came here to know for certain whether anything will shake my heart while I stand before you in this new body of flesh. It seems I am free." With this, it becomes completely obvious that Griffith has lost his humanity. He no longer feels anything for the people he killed and the band of the Hawk he sacrificed during the eclipse. In order to gain power, he abandoned his humanity, now being completely free. Guts loses control of himself and rages towards Griffith, as we, the reader, wonder how it's possible that this man could change so much so suddenly. What is it that drives him so hard? As Guts approaches, Griffith once again states, "I will not betray my dream. That is all." The biggest thing Griffith does while trying to grow and develop his kingdom of Falconia is the battle against the Kushan. And while Guts is traveling and trying to find his reason in life, Griffith is continuing to advance towards his goal with almost no setbacks at all. The two now parallel each other in almost every way. Griffith now being the one who is continuing to move forward and achieve more and more without caring about what happens to the people around him and without caring about how many people he really kills. While Guts, on the other hand, is doing the complete opposite, trying to find who he really is and to recover from his past experiences. Of course, as we know, Griffith creates Fantasia and ultimately achieves his goal while hardly lifting a finger. Of course, due to the passing of Kentaro Miura, we no longer know what will happen to Griffith moving forward, but as Guts said, there is only one thing that he certainly will do, and that is to continue soaring higher and higher, because that is Griffith, the White Hawk. I hope you did enjoy this video, as I would like to do more of these analysis videos on antagonists and protagonists and overall any character in manga that you want me to analyze. Drop in the comments what character you want me to analyze next, and if this video does well, I may consider it. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like on the video, and if you're new here, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. That is all from me though. Take care and peace.